really no freedom. We think we're free, but really you're not free. Nobody is free in this society. You have to live within their constraints. I mean,
yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's
kidding.
not going to be the worst thing in the world if a shitload of people die. I mean, especially people that aren't.
Especially, dude, LSD's got to be. I never did LSD, dude, but I couldn't. That's probably a good way to go out, dude.
People don't see the evil in us going into all these Middle Eastern brown people countries and taking over and killing people there. But then you got this white country of Russia going into a white country of Ukraine, and Russia feels like they have a justified reason to go into Ukraine. Like we thought Iraq, who didn't have weapons of mass destruction.
Be emotional. What's going to be emotional is these goddamn gas prices. That's what's getting me.
The best type of marketing is marketing that doesn't look like marketing.
What site you're getting your information from, you don't know the truth. I don't know it. Nobody knows what's actually going on.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to sound terrible, but I don't really care.
Like the most crazy thing I've ever heard was a global pandemic was started by some Asian guy eating a bat thousands of miles away. Like, First of all, how racist of a story is that for you to believe? Some guy just ate a bat in some poor town in China, and now the entire world has a virus that this guy got. It's like the biggest bullshit lie I've ever heard.
Fucking crazy.
Let's go back to the book now.
Yeah, let's go back.
Let's go back.
My soul is breaking free. You awaken me. Stolen my time to move on, but now I can see seizing destiny. Welcome to my evolution.
You know what I mean? All right, welcome to the dumbest guy in the room. It's good to be back, boys. It's been a while. Today we're doing the book review. Another Mike pick, Brave New World by, how do you say his first name, dude? Aldous Huxley. Good pick, dude. And by the way, looking into him, he has made me redo my will on the way I want to go out. Do you know how he went out, dude? You know how he died?
How did he die now?
So he on his deathbed, he made his wife shoot him up with LSD. So he went out fucking high on LSD. That's the way to go out.
That is a way to go out.
That's a way to go out, dude. Could you imagine that?
Like, no bullshit. Remember, like, when I used to fucking get high, I used to say, I want my last, like, breath on this earth to be like weed smoke. I want my grandkid or whoever to fucking just put a joint in my mouth and light that shit. So I take my last breath.
Dude, LSD's got to be. I never did LSD, dude, but I couldn't. That's probably a good way to go out, dude. You know, like you're just in a whole nother world. But also, do you know what day he died? Aldous Huxley died on November 22nd, 1963. Same day as C.S. Lewis and JFK. They all died the same fucking day.
Crazy.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I have to look into that.
So what does November 22nd, 1963 mean, Mike? You love number games.
Well, 11 is the master number. And what did you say, 22?
22.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look into it.
Yeah, all died on the same. There's actually somebody actually wrote a book about them beating in purgatory. Like there's a book out there about that.
That's funny.
Curious to see what that's about.
Yeah, the author is a very interesting guy. He, I believe he was a part of the Fabian Society, which they all write about futuristic communist worlds and it's like a secret society type thing. His brother was a eugenicist, which, really? Yeah, he's a famous guy as well. And was buddies with like Charles Darwin's, I don't know if it's his nephew or great grandson or something. So that kind of goes hand in hand with eugenicists. But yeah, he's an interesting guy. He wrote books on tripping with LSD. He's wrote books on like how you can open your mind with microdosing drugs. He wrote this stuff 60, 70 years ago.
Yeah, and that stuff was not.
Yeah, you got people like Joe Rogan talking about it now, but Aldous Huxley was talking about it back way before.
Right.
That's different, dude. I didn't know that about him. I found it interesting about the LSD though. I mean, that would obviously go hand in hand. And it's that he had family in eugenics when the book is like primarily around that.
Exactly. Well, his brother kind of gave him these ideas, and I mean, if you look at it from the conspiracy side, which is what I'm 100% into, but it's like that's how they want to kind of shape our world, and they write these books like kind of like 1984, saying like this is what your world's going to be like if you don't figure shit out. So kind of like a warning. But that they open the book right away with cloning factories. You can see like the family.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the family unit is totally dissolved. People don't say father or mother anymore. That's like a curse word to them.
Yeah.
They call it a smut.
Yeah, a smut word.
The smut word.
It's like very foreign to them. I'm pretty sure they didn't even understand the concept of grandmother or grandfather. I forget what word it was, but some family lineage word, and they had no idea what it even meant right off the bat in the beginning. And you can see how in the cloning factory, they even thought about they can't make people equal in intelligence and size and strength. They need to create intelligence classes so that people fall in line, because you're not going to have someone that's super smart being a trash collector or something like that.
Right.
So they have all the way alpha, all the way to like, is it epsilon? That's the final one, whatever. There's like 4 or 5.
Yeah, they use the Greek alphabet to categorize. Like I noticed that too. Like categorize like your standing in society.
It's alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and epsilon.
Yeah.
So like the epsilons, they would add alcohol to their I guess their embryo, and whatever amount of alcohol would determine how messed up their future intelligence would be, so that they could now be the lowest in society, hang out with those other lowly people and just concentrate on those lowly tasks. And then they talk about conditioning through when people were asleep, they have to wear these like earphones, and they would program their brains with sayings. And that's a theme in the book. They all have these sayings that they all just spit at certain times. So I thought that was interesting, because they're programming through TV, music, radio. Yeah, they may not be getting to us yet through sleep, but they definitely do that. So that was another thing that I thought was kind of interesting. Right off the bat, they start talking about. But I'll let you guys get into it. What did you guys find interesting? I know it's my book and everything, but
I looked and like seen that it was published in 32, I think it said, and to have like these ideas back then, it was like, I think it's like crazy. Like it's actually like extreme like forethought. Because I mean, like kind of like now, like if we could potentially be cloning people. We've cloned animals,
sure.
And
I think you're crazy to
like with like in vitro and stuff. Like technically, we are creating people in test tubes and in petri dishes. I mean, we use the semen and the eggs from like female and put it into like a dish and create a baby. And like to have that thought back then is just like I would have liked to seen like how he came about these thoughts all the way back then, before the scientific advances of today. Yeah, like it's just crazy.
Well, dude, the way I see it is, like back then, dude, I see this as an allegory for colonization, right? Like it's to an extreme of what he's talking about, but it's happening and it's been happening. This is just to an extreme level, right? Which it's going to that extreme. But if you think about like the way that we're conditioned, we are already conditioned like this. Like you're born into a world that is being conditioned through school, TV, music, all of that. And it just doesn't look like that, right? But that's the best type of marketing is marketing. It doesn't look like marketing.
Yeah, or if you took a person from like 1,000 years ago, they'd look at our society and say, like, look what the hell? Like,
what happened?
There's really no freedom. We think we're free, but really you're not free. Nobody is free in this society. You have to live within their constraints. I mean,
Yeah. Like it's crazy too, because like back then, like they were having like 5, 10, 12 kids at a time. I mean, like they didn't have like tons of like it would be like a 3-bedroom house, you know what I mean? Like, but like you have all these kids. And like now, like if you had someone back then, now they were like 1, 2, maybe 3 kids. Like people aren't really having as many kids as they used to. And then like I thought like it was interesting how in the more tropical climates, he said that like the numbers were greater and like the reproductive, I think they were hitting like 15 something. And then but in the more tropical climates, like the South Pacific, I think the other one was like Africa or something like that. They were hitting like 16, 17,000.
Yeah, and that's what he said.
They were able to clone that anymore.
Yeah. And like that, he said like something about like the black people embryo was
that's what he said. He said
more
you should
like
see how the
it was more receptive in duplicating and producing more than the European. So like I thought that was interesting too.
And so I went back to some statistics from the 30s, looking at like what he said was going to happen and then comparing some of the statistics from the 30s to today. And it's crazy how much closer we are to what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
So he talked about how much time we spend on consuming, right? So the big thing they said was the controller and the director, they wouldn't approve like activities or approve things for society unless it produced consumption. So like if you look at technology today and everything today, it's like look at all our phones and
right.
Like nothing's produced unless like nothing when it comes to technology is going to be produced unless people are going to continue to buy, right? Otherwise, what's the point of it? If no one's going to buy it, what's the point of it, right? So going back to that and just consumption of media, you had in the 30s, only 40% of American homes even had a radio.
Yeah.
40% of Americans had a radio. Today, the average American, so individual, spends 10 hours a day on the screen.
It's insane.
So from the 30s, 40% of it, the whole house had a radio within their home. So you don't even know how much they listen to it. To today, 10 hours looking at your phone. Then you have, it says listeners spend an average of 4 hours a day listening to the radio.
Yeah, like
out of that 40%, right? Which is very low. Then you had the marriage rate, which was, I don't even know what I wrote here. So you have the marriage rate of 9.2 per thousand. Marriage rate's down to 6.1 per thousand. Median age of marriage was 24, 21. Now it's 30, 28. Divorce rate was 1.6 of 1,000. Today it's 16.7, and premarital births was 18%, and now it's 40.5.
Wow.
So when you look at like, and those are all things that it talks about, like not having parents, not just being society. Everybody owns everybody. There's no mother or father. And then you look at today, and it's like, and even the words, right? Like you said, Mike, you said that he calls mother and father smut. That's what we're doing today. It's like now we're looking at the word mother and being like, that's not right. You shouldn't be calling her a mother because she's staying at home. Like women are this, men can be mothers too. And it's like, what is going on? And it just, it matches up with that. It's just like we're doing the same thing right now. We're not just calling mother, father smut, but we're saying that it's wrong because of a man can be a father and this can be a father. It's just crazy, dude. I don't know.
Another interesting thing in the book was he talks about all this came about after a 12 years war, I believe was the date.
9 years.
So was it 9?
A 9-year war.
So there was a war, always 9. So there was a war for 9 years that decimated the whole world basically. And the people after the war were so happy it was over that they were kind of conditioned into this communist socialist society. So it's interesting. I wonder if that's where we're headed here.
It looks like it, dude. You know, like it really does. And like everybody is, and I'm not saying it's going to sound terrible, but I don't really care. Everybody's like, you know, everything going on with Ukraine, and you know, I'm for Ukraine, and Russia's being like whatever. Russia's afraid that NATO is going to take over Russia. Like, I think they're fighting against the New World Order, in my opinion. Like, I don't agree with what they're doing, but if you look at the whole thing with Russia and what they've been doing since 2008, like the way they've been taking over land around Ukraine to like put themselves in this position, it's like where they're attacking and like where they took over what Crimea, right? Like if Ukraine had that, or if they joined NATO and the United States and Europe, and those civilizations can literally just put their base there and point missiles at Russia if they wanted to, and Putin didn't want that. So that's how I see it. I don't think it's a good thing, but you know, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, I have a more skeptical outlook on the whole thing. I mean,
I bet you do. That's what I want to hear.
I think there's basically an allegiance and alliance between all these leaders, and they're gonna bring in the New World Order with a war, and that's basically what they're trying to do. And I mean, just look at the people involved. The freaking Ukrainian president is an actor. He was on a show before he became president.
Play the president.
He played the president who became the president as a surprise. That was the basis of the show. And then right after he's done being an actor, he becomes the damn president of the nation. And it's just like, and then you take Trump, that guy was an actor. He played his part and he played it really well. And now you got Biden playing the moron and the weak president that Putin's gonna stand up to and take advantage of because he's the weak guy. It's like, I think that's all an act. I really do. And if you watch the TV, I mean, I sent you guys some videos, but like it just seems so hokey, some of this stuff that these reporters do. Like the guy, he's on the film talking about how dangerous it is, and then he takes a couple steps back and he's like, oh no, I was just standing over a landmine.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a grenade here.
Grenade. I'm like, oh, there's a grenade here, he says. I'm like,
what
the hell is this?
We better back up a little bit. I did see that one. You said that one, I think. I agree too, dude. It's so hard to watch.
It's hard to believe anything.
It's so hard to watch and be like, is this a movie? Yeah. You know, like it's so easy to recreate all of that into a movie. If you ever seen a movie, it looks fucking real. It'd be so easy.
Like, I feel bad for like Ukraine because like I feel like it has nothing to do with them. Yeah, they're just caught in the middle of Russia trying to send a message to the US and like the rest of NATO, like I'm not to be fucked with. And unfortunately, Ukraine's just caught in the middle and they're just getting fucked.
Well, it just sucks for all civilians everywhere. Exactly. Even the middle, even like that's really what it's against. I think that's what Mike's trying to say. It's like it's really the elite versus civilians. Yes. And who's it going to be? And obviously the civilians, it's very difficult but we don't have anything.
But they're all like, nobody's clued into paying attention to anything. And there's so many more of us, but I feel like everybody's kind of being led to the slaughter here. Like, how quick are people to put on like their Facebook picture, I stand with Ukraine? Like, you don't know shit about Ukraine. You see your favorite celebrities say that and you put it up there. Like, you don't know shit about anything. And you just, and their last post was wear a damn face mask, or their post before that was I'm vaccinated, or the post before that was Black Lives Matter. It's like you guys just change your freaking Facebook posts to whatever the hot topic is without doing any research into anything.
The one I liked, dude, was they were doing another news interview. Whoever the newscaster was like, it's not fair for these Ukrainians. They weren't alive during the Soviet times. They were born in the 90s, and we're taking out. They're taking. It was the same reporter that would be like, white people suppress and they need to give back to all the black people because of slavery. Same reporter saying this isn't fair for the Ukrainians that are over there today because they weren't alive with the Soviet stuff, and they're dealing with things that their ancestors did. It's like, what the fuck? Hypocrisy at its finest.
Yeah. Also, it was the 1990s, not the 1890s. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was so much closer. I don't get it, dude.
None of it makes sense. I mean, it's not meant to make sense. It's meant to evoke an emotion, and that's really what they're doing. That's why you'll see so much about a mother and a child, or like their mother crying over their kid going to war, because they're trying to get your heartstrings and they're trying to get you emotional. They show
Get me emotional. What's getting me emotional is these goddamn gas prices. That's what's getting me
What's the gas over there in Jersey, Mike?
fucking crazy.
I mean, like $4 probably.
Which is crazy for Jersey. Like, I haven't seen it. I was just over in Jersey yesterday, and I haven't seen gas prices that high in Jersey, I think, ever in my entire life.
Probably ever. Probably.
We're at
It's
370.
the highest it's ever been.
It's getting high here, dude's at like 370 right now. It's getting a little out of hand. What do you think that's about, Mike?
Well, I mean, obviously you're getting cut off from your oil supply, but also, I mean, these oil and gas companies, they use stuff like this to justify hiking up rates. I mean,
Like,
they
in like
blame the
times-
government.
I feel like in times like this, like
Oh,
with
yeah.
war, it's like us as like the U.S., like we produce our own oil, and like it's like a ridiculous amount of barrels a day. Like, why can't we fucking dip into that to keep the gas prices low? We got to get it shipped from the fucking Middle East, but we have it right here.
So there's basically a cartel, a conglomerate of oil companies that meet and decide the price of oil. So it's highly political. So it's things like this justify why they get to raise the money, even if it really hasn't affected them yet.
Right.
Yo, how do we get Mike for president?
I don't want to be president.
You sure, dude?
But think about it. Like, how fast have all these idiots forgotten about the virus that was killing all these people? Now,
Bro, everybody's forgetting. Dude, it's so funny. I don't
want to jinx myself. I'm thankful, but like, it's crazy.
dude, I can only laugh about it, dude. I think it's I don't know. I think it's hilarious.
That's
But
what I
the
just-
idiots they can't comprehend two different subjects at the same time. So now they shut off one to pick up another. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I
dude.
just seen this thing that like the CDC like kind of like took down like 70% of like their mandates for like masks. Like,
Yeah.
only like very high numbered areas have to still wear a mask, but that pretty much nobody else needs to wear a mask anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. All of a sudden, nobody needs to wear a mask.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Nothing's really changed, but
And I
let's take
think
these away.
what goes into that, I think they know, they study psychology and they know what people can take. And if you
Yeah.
put too much stress into people, you start getting people snapping. So they
Yeah.
got this war going on. They can't have the added stress of this virus yet, because then people start snapping and they lose their minds. Like,
Right.
I think we already did lose our mind, though.
I sure did. I did.
It's a good thing, dude. It's a good thing to lose your mind.
Yeah.
I think it is.
We talk about this all the time too, but like I can't even tell you the last time I watched like sports, especially like more than 5 minutes. Like, I can't even tell you.
Yesterday I watched the Sixers game with Liam. It's cool watching it with Liam. You know, like he wanted to watch it, so I turned it on. But it is difficult now. You know, it kind of sucks. It really does. It kind of sucks. And our boy Roderick posted something on social media the other day. It was like, you know, everything is politics. So anything, if you don't think it's politics, then you're delusional. And I was just like, dude, how do I get those delusions back? Like, I just want to. Sometimes I do. I just want to go back to not being aware, right? Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm trying to be more aware, and it's like fucking me up sometimes.
I ask this question sometimes to myself, like, if you could go back to, I don't know, 2018, 2019 mentality, and that you get that mentality, but you can't ever wake up to the reality, but you can live the rest of your life in that dream. Would you do it? It's like, I guess, but
I don't know, dude.
yeah, I don't know, because now I see myself as like such an idiot back then, because
Yeah, so dumb.
they really do try to manipulate everything you do in your life. Like, it's really, and
I
then you
don't
see
think I could. I don't think I could go back
Yeah.
because like I'd rather know, and then like on the off chance like there is like something I can do, like prepare before shit really hits the fan for like to protect like myself and my family, and be better prepared than 90% of the population.
Yeah, so I said that to someone before, and Ed, you know what they said? They said, well, if you are right, which I'm not calling you crazy, but if you are right, Mike, do you want to live in a world that's like that? It's like, why don't you just get vaccinated? Because if everyone's dying around you, do you really want to be alive? I'm like, what the? I got kids, I got a wife. What kind of question is that? Yeah. Like, and they were dead serious. Like, do you really want to be alive, Mike?
Do you really?
Everyone around you is dying. Do you want to? I'm like, so what? I go do something I don't agree with just because if it is what I think it is, I'm gonna die. Like, I don't understand that logic.
Right.
Yeah, that's not a good way to look at it, in my opinion.
If that does happen, then it'll be a better world for me and my family. The air pollution will be better. The
starting to think like these elitists.
You know, like I'm just saying, like it's not going to be the worst thing in the world if a shitload of people die. I mean, especially people that aren't doing shit for society. Like they're just wasting like all these fucking bums all over the city, especially like LA. Like you're not contributing at all. If they all just disappeared, I'm not going to be mad at it. It's not going to affect my daily life.
Yeah, I could see how many people think like that. I mean, it's a broken system for sure.
I think the hard part for me, dude, was the realization that I don't know anything. Right? Like nobody really knows anything. And like that I wasn't able to open my mind to this stuff. Like this stuff was all fiction. None of it was ever like if I read this, if I read back then, if I read this book when I was pre-2018, like 2018-ish. I read this book then I'd be like, this is ridiculous. It's fiction. Why would anybody think anything other than that? And then when you get into, I guess, consciousness, like being aware of what is going on and why people do what they do, it's like a scary thing. And I think that what took the most courage for me to figure this stuff out was looking within myself to see the evil that I put out into the world before I was conscious of what I was doing. Because I did, man, I justified everything I did with my intentions. So like I judged evil by intention, right? Which you can't do because I don't know what Mike's intention is. I don't know what Eddie's intention is. And I'll never really know. Only you know what your true intention is, right? And I like to believe that 99% of this earth, the person doing whatever they're doing has good intentions. So with that being said, once I changed that mindset, I was like, no, actions are evil. Like there's things that you do that are evil. And I judge the action and not really the person. And when you do that, you start seeing things differently, right? And I took it, I had a phone call with, I guess he's like, I'm not gonna say his name because out of respect, because he asked me not to talk about it again. But I talked to him on the phone for like 2 hours, dude. I commented on one of his Facebook things that he posted about something about Trump with all the Ukraine stuff. And I wrote this whole thing out and I responded and he's like, I don't want to go back and forth about politics on Facebook. Call me. So I called him and I went and he's just like, I asked him, I said, do you think killing somebody is evil? And he's like, no. I was like, no. It's like the most evil thing you can do. He's like, yeah, but what if like, I was being attacked and it's still evil. Like to me, the action of killing someone is evil and I'm capable of it.
Yeah.
If me and my son are together and somebody attacks my son and I kill that dude, am I going to be able to live with that? Like in my head, I'm going to have to relive that and justify killing somebody the rest of my life because I took a life. And I know that in my head, I'm going to have to live with that when I go to sleep. Like I'm going to have to live with the fact I murdered somebody, even though it was self-defense, right? I killed them. That is evil. And I'm fully capable of it. Some people look at that as not being evil. They look at that as being good because you self-defense. It's like, no, dude, like
That's how they justify it so they can sleep at night.
right. And that look at PSTD, look like everything that like these military guys deal with on a daily basis because it's a necessary evil.
And to them, it's just a job. Like,
and they think it's good.
Yep.
It's not good. It's evil. You're doing evil, but you're justifying it with I'm protecting the country. I'm protecting this and that. And it's like, yes. And I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm saying it's a necessary evil. And if you can recognize that what you're doing is like committing these evil actions with good intentions, might be able to live with yourself a little bit better than trying to convince yourself that you're still good. Does that make sense?
Bill, I think the people that like the armed services, you go over and you do kill somebody. I think they start out where your buddy is with his interpretation. And then after they do it, they kind of drift to your spot where you see it as that was an evil thing that I did. That man had a family. He lived in that country that I just came into and killed him in. Now I was there fighting for whatever reason, but in their head, they have now gone from that almost propaganda view of war and killing to now I did something bad almost. Now it was necessary, but he has to live with that now. So he's seeing that his action was evil. And that's what a lot of PSD and a lot of these struggles that these Army guys and Marines come home with, because they know they killed somebody over there. They can't do anything about it, but they have to live with it and grow from it and justify it. So
yeah.
Right. So I think that the key to all of that is to recognize the evil within yourself. So being able to see the evil within yourself kind of gives you a little bit of relief, right? Like it does relieve a little bit of that knowing that you are capable of it. And then learning how to control that is important, because then you get somebody like Putin, right? That if you can't control it and you just are like, whatever, you're not really, I don't know, dude. Like I just think that somebody that doesn't recognize the evil within themselves is more dangerous than somebody that can sit there and say, I'm an evil person.
And let's expand on that a little bit, because that is a good topic, because people don't see the evil in us going into all these Middle Eastern brown people countries and taking over and killing people there. But then you got this white country of Russia going into a white country of Ukraine, and Russia feels like they have a justified reason to go into Ukraine. Like we thought Iraq, who didn't have weapons of mass destruction, and all these other Afghanistan, all these other countries over there, the patriots in America think, oh yeah, we needed to go over there. We needed to do this, this, and this. But we killed all these people that had nothing to do with those reasons, just like these Ukrainian people are dying for the Russians who are patriotic, think they deserve something over there. So that's where I get into, people don't know shit about what's actually going on. All they know is what these mainstream media sites are putting out there. And that's not the truth. No matter what site you're getting your information from, you don't know the truth. I don't know it. Nobody knows what's actually going on.
Yeah. All I know is that killing somebody's evil. So like, no matter who's doing the killing and why you're doing it, killing somebody's evil. It's just, why are we justifying this one and not that one? And it's, well, because the news is telling you that this is justified and this one is not. And you're rolling with it. And Mike, you're right, dude. Like the same people that have Black Lives Matter things are now, I stand with Ukraine. You never seen anybody up there say, I stand with fucking Iraq, or because they, in our mind, you're looking at like you're killing these evil soldiers that want to kill Americans. And some of them are literally, I guarantee a lot of them would never even, they couldn't get here if they tried, dude. You know, like they didn't have what these Europeans have.
Like we were able to justify it by the whole 9/11 thing was, we gotta go. We gotta go attack these people.
Yeah.
I could get into that one.
You know what I mean?
We've had a stream or two about that already, but
yeah, I could go all the way back there too.
So to build on that, did you see freaking cruise missiles were hitting buildings and not taking them down? But
A blade.
yeah, come on, people.
A whole building crumbled.
A cruise missile hit a Ukrainian apartment complex and is still there. Like,
We live in a brave new world.
yeah.
This is a book review, right?
I was talking to this one guy, and he's like, somehow we got on a topic of like when the government like released like the documents for like UFOs and shit like that, like saying like, okay, yeah, they do exist. It's like if after years of like conspiracies and then finally like releasing these documents, why now are you going to release them? Like, what are you covering up? And it's like, imagine what they're not telling you.
Or what do they have planned to build on those released documents? Like,
Yeah,
like
if you're like release this all of a sudden now after years, like, and then like just imagine all the shit that they're covering up that they don't tell you. They're telling you this just to feed you some shit so you could fucking eat that up while they're covering all this other shit up.
like the most crazy thing I've ever heard was a global pandemic was started by some Asian guy eating a bat thousands of miles away. Like, first of all, how racist of a story is that for you to believe? Some guy just ate a bat in some poor town in China, and now the entire world has a virus that this guy got. It's like the biggest bullshit lie I've ever heard.
That dude's a beast, dude. It's all set in place already. So like, the future is already written. So whoever tries to tell you that it's not, nuts. Because, dude, they have Martin Luther King has like there's a video that the CIA, because the CIA was obviously in every organization like that ever, because they run fucking everything. But you see they're releasing a video. I think it's in 20 years. They have a tape of Martin Luther King with another preacher of him like laughing as the other preacher is raping a girl, and Martin Luther King's laughing in this tape.
Well, J. Edgar Hoover used to bug every hotel room
that
Martin Luther King was in.
So that's going to be they already have a fucking date that they're going to release that tape.
You know what else? You know what else is going on? So they don't teach this in school. Martin Luther King was murdered by the government, and his family sued the government and won millions of dollars in court. And they don't teach that in school. They just said, oh, he was murdered. No, the government lost in their own court of law for murdering him. Like, go Wikipedia it.
And then the government gave him a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, we live in a fucked up world. They
it's like, oh, then let's give them a month, but we can't give like
the shortest
month with the most. We gotta give them we gotta give them the shortest month. we can't take 31 days of this. We're gonna take 28.
and during that month, what we're gonna talk about is all the negatives.
Yes, dude.
We're not gonna talk about anything that they did good. Just all the bad things.
They bash black people the entire Black History Month, and they sneak little things that are probably half truths in there. Like it's outrageous.
Well, this year we had the Ukraine thing, so their month got completely forgotten.
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude.
It is fucking crazy.
Let's go back to the book now.
Yeah, let's go back.
Me and my wife were talking today. She's like, yeah, the book. You guys plan on actually talking about this book?
Hey,
I wanted to ask Mike, because like in the book there is a lot of numbers, especially in like the first couple chapters. They talk about he talks about like 96, like identical twins, and like it says 96 like multiple times just on the one page. What page is this?
Yeah, I never broke that down. That's a good point.
There's a ton of numbers.
Yeah, the first chapter's all numbers. It's like
very like statistical, like the first chapter.
You got to go back and look at that.
Mike loves his numbers.
I know. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Then like I made a point to like bring that up and like talk to him about it, because like I didn't know I wanted to know if you dug into it or not.
No, I didn't. But that's how they signal things to each other, like certain numbers. They have codes. They have certain words, like all that. If you're in the club, you can identify. And I'm
like another language.
They really do.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I think it's the only way to communicate. Like Morse code.
It is like Morse code.
Mike's trying to infiltrate that club and figure it the fuck out.
At least a little bit, so I can know when Doomsday's coming or something.
Right.
We'll never know that, dude. We'll never know that. But it is crazy how much this book is coming alive, dude. The other thing they talk about is they give
Well,
they
get rid
give
of religion. They're getting rid of religion in the book.
yeah. They got rid of religion's already kind of
It's
I mean, you're not allowed to talk about that at all.
True, like in the book, how he said something about before the Great War,
yeah.
Christianity and something else, and like that, like pretty much stating that like now after the Great War, they don't,
It's done. Yeah,
they don't, there is no like religion. It's just it is what it is.
And if you study Freemasonry, their one goal is to get rid of Christianity. And I'm not saying that Christianity is right or anything like that, but that's one of their goals. And their other, you'll hear this all the time. Their main focus is the great work. Now, if you ask a Mason, what is the great work? They beat around the bush. They don't really give you a good answer. They say, well, it's making the world a better place. Each Mason has their own job to do that. But really, what the great work is a worldwide socialist system of free-thinking people living kind of like a communistic lifestyle. They have a council of very smart people that make all the decisions, and everybody kind of falls in line. Everybody has a free, open opportunity at certain things, and nobody owns anything. We share things and we share ideas, and nobody has patents, stuff like that. So that's their goal. And Freemasonry is hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
And they kind of say that America was the like guinea pig for that. And then they're going to take what they learned here and try to create a world like that. So it's kind of interesting to see where we're headed here.
It's definitely interesting to see where we're headed. I mean, the other thing that they do in the book is soma, the drug.
Soma.
Yeah.
And it's just to make everybody like kind of happy and pleasure. Like happiness and pleasure is key, right? If you can keep everybody happy and meeting all their desires, then you can control them. And look at what we're doing to kids today, dude. Like how many kids are on SSIs or Adderall for ADHD? Like ADHD is through the fucking roof. And
everybody got it.
That triggers the dopamine, dude. So like in a way, it's what soma is.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're drugging kids.
Sure.
Right? Just because a pharmacist or your doctor's doing it doesn't mean you're not changing their chemical makeup to make them something that we see as civilized. Right? Like we'd see a person and we're like, this is what a human should be. And you're not fitting that right now. You're a little crazy. You're a little too much energy. You don't pay attention to this. We need you to pay attention to this. So let's change that chemical makeup so that you are exactly fitting into this society that we say you need to fit into.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And it's crazy, dude. I don't know. I don't know. We're living in a brave new world. And the other thing that go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, you see more and more like people, any little stress in their life and they want to run to some kind of pharmaceutical answer. And it's like, can't you cope with that a different way? Or can't you exercise? Can't you find a release in a different way? And we really are headed to some pharmaceutical future where everything's solved with a pill.
Yeah,
it's the truth, dude. I mean, they're putting like fucking vegetables. Here's your capsule with the daily dose of vegetables that you eat. Here's the capsule of fruits. Here's the whatever that you need. And I just
like it's like not just kids, like it's for everything. Like instead of your doctor say, I mean, like some people like it is genetic and like there's nothing you can really do about it. But like instead of your doctor saying, oh, you need to eat healthier and exercise, practice meditation to bring your blood pressure down. Here's a pill. Keep eating like shit. Don't exercise. And here's a fucking pill. And oh, now your blood pressure is better, but now your cholesterol's through the roof. Here's another pill. Oh, now you have this. Here's another pill. oh, that I gotta give you a pill for that pill to combat this pill. Like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude, we're all fucking lab rats. Instead of eating, like that's why I like to listen to people that treat food as medicine, like people that talk about how foods are medicine, because that's how we get the fucking medicine, right? Like, isn't that how we're creating medicines, is by taking nature and recreating it into a fucking pill? Why not just try to figure out what we need to eat?
I remember when my mother-in-law had cancer, so she started like building fluid. So then they gave her a pill to deal with like the fluid that was building up. And then the fluid was causing like heart arrhythmias. So then they gave her a pill for her heart. And then because of the water pill, it was causing certain levels like potassium and stuff to decrease. And like that was causing the heart issues. So now we're giving her potassium. Like it was just like one pill after another, because like this pill is fixing this, but it's causing another issue. And then we got to fix that issue because it was fucking crazy.
It just keeps going, dude, and going and going.
3 pills to like a fucking shitload of pills, and now we got to like track everything. It was crazy.
So once upon a time, I was actually a pharmaceutical sales rep, and
scumbag.
Yeah, real. But they teach you like all this stuff. So every drug you take has what's called a mechanism of action. And what that basically means is its main purpose. What does it go in? What does it turn off? What does it turn on? What is its goal? And it affects some kind of receptor in your body. But they also have these other secondary causes. So when it turns this on, what does it do to what does it turn off? And that's why when you take one pill, there's always some other unwanted side effect, because no pill only does one thing. It affects your whole chemistry. Like say taking steroids. You're going to get all this testosterone, but then your body notices, hey, I have too much testosterone, and it floods your body with estrogen to try and even out the hormones in your body. So everybody that thinks like, oh, I can take a pill to help this, you're going to have some kind of side effect no matter what. Right. So it really, doctors need to educate on, if you don't need something, you shouldn't be taking it. I mean, you really need to work on your diet first, work on maybe walk a couple miles a day, or get active and eat healthy, and then see where you're at. Because a lot of our issues are caused just by our lifestyle. I mean,
yeah, man, that's why I was excited with my the one episode I had with Pat Bryan, because he talks a lot about that, dude. Like he talks a lot about, and what I think about that episode I did with Pat, that conversation I had with Pat, was Pat talked a lot about. Pat wasn't like there's one thing fits all, and he wasn't like extreme to the point where he's like cut all of this and cut that. He's like, dude, that's not human. So like what you need to do if you want to get healthy is cut one thing, like start there. So do something small, change one small habit, and then change when that habit's kicking up, and then change this habit to this habit and start shifting it. He's like, even me, dude, I like ice cream. I can't get rid of ice cream, so I'm not going to do it. Like, I even drink. The difference is I know, like, I only drink one night a week with my friends casually, and then maybe a wedding I'll drink a little more or something like that. Where like my ice cream on this day, like if I got rid of that, I'd probably be miserable. So like, you can't just completely get rid of who you are and things that you love. If you love a cheeseburger, well, don't just try not to eat a cheeseburger every day first, and then. You know what I mean? And I like that about what he said, because I think that's way more helpful in somebody's life to realize that like it's not these people that are fit. And Pat Bryan, he's a fit dude. So like somebody like that, he just didn't get there overnight. Right. It was a process of eliminating small bad habits and implementing a small good habit that led to a lot more good habits than bad habits.
And habits, it all starts with the first time. So like you got to take the step, and then you do it 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row.
You are your habit.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing especially with like exercise. People find it hard to get that first week of workouts in and then create that as a habit, because life is hard. There's so much shit going on. You guys know that. So
yeah. And that's what he said, man. He's like, don't go running for 5 miles the first time you decide that you want to run. Go walk a half a mile, and then continue doing that until you're just doing it without having to like make yourself do it and then do a mile and then start running the mile. And I was like, that's helped me because I'm terrible with that stuff, dude. I was terrible at working out. Absolutely terrible. But this whole pandemic thing has kind of woke me up to the fact that I'm unhealthy as shit. And if I don't do something about it, I'm going to get sucked into that pharmaceutical life because I'm going to have to. Like there comes a time, like Eddie's mother-in-law, my mom, my dad, there comes a point in time where it's like, what else do you do? Like I can't,
Right.
like who do you go to for that help at that point? It's like you're going to do what a doctor tells you to do at that point because you got there, and I struggle with joint pain, dude. Like there's days I wake up, dude, and I'm in so much pain. I have to like stretch for like an hour before I can get my ace out of bed because of my knees and my shoulders. And I don't know what's causing it. So I started this week. I just prepped all my meals. I'm going to straight meat, all meat diet.
I do that.
Try to eliminate something to figure out what's going on with what's causing all this.
I eliminated bread and I had some serious joint pain. I had some bloating, and I try to stick to an almost all meat diet. I have cheat days, like on a weekend, I'll cheat with my diet and have like pizza or something. But during the week, I try to eat almost entirely eggs and meat.
Yeah, that's what Chris did.
I've never felt better. I mean,
isn't that the other point of like working out and dieting? And everyone's like, that's not good for you. To say good for you, but like if you feel good.
Well, that you gotta see where
the goal.
These people are coming from they're coming from what's in their textbooks. Like they know what they've read, they know what they studied, and they know what the mainstream accepts. So my thing is like, I'm not telling anybody anything until I try it myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't talk crap on vegan because I've never tried it. I mean, I'm sure it could work for some people. I've tried the opposite and I've felt amazing. So don't tell me that it doesn't work for me. Like my joints feel better. I'm less bloated. I just feel better.
Isn't that the goal though? Like you feel better. Isn't that why that should be the goal. If you feel better and it's working for you, why is it wrong?
Exactly.
That should be everybody's goal. If vegan works for you and you feel better, you have more energy, and then it works.
Right.
But I've just read so much about the carnivore thing that I wanted to give it a shot because some days, dude, like I said, it's in my shoulders and my knees.
Same.
And it's terrible some days. I'm like, what is going on, dude? Because it just happened like one day. It started like light and then it just got worse. And I'm like, all right, something needs to change.
You can hit me up offline and I'll give you some tips. The first couple weeks can be a little tough with adapting, but I'll give you some tips.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna need it because Kristen's laughing at me. I can't wait for this week. We literally got rid of everything. So like, there's nothing for me to even grab to like cheat.
Good.
But I think this is something that I've been wanting to do that we finally, sat down yesterday, made the shopping list, and we're going to do it because I just don't want to have this pain. I'm going to see if I can get rid of this pain.
You picked the most expensive time to eat meat.
Yeah, I know. I know, dude. But still, what am I supposed to do?
Well, you'll find you're going to be less, if you stick to it, you'll be less hungry than normal because it's so filling to eat meat. It really is, especially fat. So
what are you doing, Ed? What kind of diets are you doing over there, dude? You're looking good.
Diet? Kidding me?
It's not really a diet. It's just I like to call it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
If I say diet, I'm not gonna want to do it either.
I eat good though, because like I mean, she does like meal prep and like she cooks for me a lot. So like I do eat like good meals pretty consistently.
But talking about the meal thing,
like,
dude.
when, like on like her days that like she'll work, like she usually like tonight I think she made like 3 or 4 meals for like the days that she'll be working. So like it'll already be prepped and like ready to go for like me and the baby.
Talking about food and expensive meat and cooking, right? The end of these chapters that we're talking about here, what was the lady's what's her name? Linda?
Elena?
Lenina?
Oh, Lenina. Yeah.
Lenin.
What was it? What do they call it? The other what is that? Not the world. What's that?
What, the reservation?
The reservation, but she like they couldn't cook. She couldn't like do anything because the world state had her. They would do everything for you.
Yeah.
So like thinking about that, dude, like we don't like. Do you know how a burger is made? Do you know how a steak is? Like, could you take an animal and get the meat and then cook it and eat it? Like that's kind of where she was like. She couldn't do that stuff. She was like, "What is going on here?" Because you're so used to getting in your fucking car and driving to McDonald's and going through a drive-through and then eating and not having to worry about how any of that was actually, you know, and I'm not saying I want to make McDonald's burgers and live off that. What I'm saying is it's so easy to eat. Like it's so easy to go and get a burger, to go get a steak, to get anything, to go to the supermarket and buy a packet of chicken. But if you took all that away, would you be able to survive?
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't.
I don't think I'd be able to really survive, dude. Like, I think I'd be able to figure it out because I am very, like, I think I could adapt. And I know, like, Eddie's a hunter. I don't know about you, Mike, but, like, I never killed an animal yet. And then had to cut it and then get what meat is where on the body and get and clean it. Right? Like, I wouldn't know how to do that. Would you?
No, I'd try to figure it out. But, I mean, fish, yeah, I've done it with fish, but not.
Yeah.
And fish is hard.
It is hard, but it's not as detailed as, like, in a mammal. I mean.
Right. I haven't done a fish myself, but I used to watch my grandpa do fucking flounder all the time.
Yeah, filleting a fish isn't bad. I mean, you just gotta make sure you clean it out real good. You clean it out real good. Freaking, pretty much chop off the head. You can spread it out, throw it on a grill, and it'll.
Yeah.
But it is crazy to think about. Like, we don't look at the world as we look at it like just anybody, dude. Like, we don't look at being able to go to a supermarket and pick out any meat you want or any vegetables that you want as a privilege. Like, that's a fucking privilege. Yeah,
it's insane.
If you took that away, what the fuck would you do?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it would be chaos. And I mean, think about this. I travel for a living. Like, I can be on an airplane and 1,200 miles away in 2 hours, 3 hours. And it's insane to think about. I mean, my wife and I are going to the Bahamas in a couple of weeks, and like, you take some of this technology away and you're just stuck in your little town, and you're all like, you can see the past. Like, everybody probably had the same viewpoints, and you take this technology away, and what are we left with? I mean, a very scared world. I mean,
that's why I always wanted to go to like freaking Cuba. I mean, they opened it up for a little bit just because it's like literally going back in time. Like, everything's stuck in the 50s, like the cars, the buildings, like the whole atmosphere.
Dude,
like,
I
always wanted to go and like check it out.
It'd be pretty cool to check out Cuba.
Yeah.
But I posted, I don't know what I posted on Facebook, something political, probably. Some dude, yeah, probably. But some dude that played like baseball with back in fucking, I don't know, maybe I was 9 years old. Like, the last time I talked or seen this dude, and he commented, and he's like, "Dude, like, it was cool that you were my friend, but like, you're a weird dude posting this stuff. Like, all you people are afraid of." It was something about Ukraine, and he's like, "All you people are afraid. Like, nothing's ever gonna happen here. You're just a weird dude, man. Whatever." So like, I went on his page real quick because I don't know anything about him, and the last two posts he had were like a share of somebody smoking a joint out of a pen cap, and then like a hot sauce bong challenge, like smoking weed out of a bong that was filled with hot sauce. And I was like, is it weirder than this? Weirder than this? And he's like, and you changed up. And I was like, of course I fucking changed, dude. I'm not 12 years old. Like, that's the goal in life, is to progress. Like, I'm not going to be the same person tomorrow either, bro. So you're going to see something different again. But like, I'm not stuck in that. Like, I used to be stuck in that mindset of like changing up is bad, and that holds you back. Like, you gotta get into new things and new. But like, to me, and he's like, it's never coming to America. That's the big thing I heard. Like, it's never gonna be here. Like, there's never gonna be a war here.
Okay.
It's like, how the fuck do you know that, dude? Like, we live in such a privileged world where we do think that we are like, nothing could ever happen on our land. Is it improbable? I I would hope so, right? But at the same time, if you look at like Trump's statement, and this is what caught me off guard, was Trump's statement about the Russia and Ukraine thing. He was like, Putin used it. He said it was brave or not brave. He said it was like brilliant the way that he strategically did it all. And he's like, and he used to call Ukraine, a part of Ukraine, independent. He's like, and remember that word. He said that he wanted this part of Ukraine independent. And he kept reiterating that. So like I went back and I was like looking at it, and from like 2014, I think it was like around 2014, there was all these news articles about how Putin infiltrated Florida and Texas with all this propaganda for like Black Lives Matter and transgender, LGBTQ, and just start pumping all these bots and Russian shit into there to piss them off, to become independent, to try to push for their independence from America. Look at the two big states right now that are always pushing for like against everything going on in America. And they would be the two easiest places to come through into America if you wanted to invade America. You come through, and if you look at like who Russia is cool with, you got Venezuela, which is right underneath of Texas. And it was weird to me that Trump kept saying like independent. And then I looked that up, and he's like, Texas and Florida, he was trying to make independent, like a push for them to try to separate from America. And those are the fucking two states that they've been pushing.
I mean,
Now,
anyone to say that.
And then the wall never made sense to me for immigrants, like illegal immigrants.
The wall thing is, first of all, if it wasn't a Trump thing, it'd be a non-issue, because they make you focus on stupid shit, because who really gives a shit if we put up a border wall to keep immigrants out? Why is that a big deal? But because they made it a bipartisan, they made it a partisan topic, so people took a side. Like,
but do you think that's the real purpose of the wall?
I think it's to keep us in for when these people come and want to kill us all, to be honest.
For something bigger than fucking illegal immigrants.
Yes, for sure.
Like, look at Ukraine. They just walked in. They had nothing there. And that's what he kept pointing out. He's like, look at the border. They're just walking in.
But I mean, it's crazy that someone says that it can never come here. I mean, China has the second best military in the world. Russia has the third. If those two team up, then they could theoretically surpass our military. And it doesn't mean that they're going to come in and take over, but they could easily drop some bombs that hit some places, or they come in and do something as they pretend they're tourists and they do so. I mean,
or they come from a third world country like Iraq, and they fly a plane through a building.
Well, when that happens, let me know.
Yeah, but think about that, dude. Like, we literally let Iraq hijack a plane, right? We let that happen.
Well, that was
Afghanistan.
We lied and said that was the reason to go to Iraq, even though it had nothing to do with it.
But either way, dude, they have not even close to the technology that Russia and China have, and they got on our land, supposedly.
I mean, the only thing that we have is like the only way they can get here is either by land or by sea or by air. They can't just drive tanks over here. Like, they have to either come by the water or
Canada and South America, pal.
Canada, but they would still have to fly or drive, like take a boat to get to Canada. Same with South America. Like, they can't just drive over here.
Right. It is harder because we're by ourselves.
That's the only thing that, like, we have. Like, Florida, you can have Florida. Florida's a bunch of old people and fuck ups. The whole state, I fucking lived there for a year. It's a freaking shit show. It's a free for all. It's crazy there.
Old people and drug addicts.
It pretty much.
Or recovering drug addicts, right?
And then there's like a shitload of Haitians, but like majority of it. And then you get some redneck areas where like.
Yeah, it's like Alabama.
Oh yeah. It's crazy. But like, it's for them to get here. Like, that's the issue, is like with technology, with like sonar and radar, and you would see them coming But like unless like you said, like Mike, like hey, to infiltrate, like be a tourist. But right now, like you see, like even like I seen this thing earlier, like Netflix pretty much like suspended all viewership for in Russia. Like they're like for somehow like they're starting to isolate Russia because it's pissing off everybody. Even
Is that good though?
even the billionaires in
Is that a
Russia
good thing?
like, even like the billionaires in Russia are getting pissed off. And then like all of a sudden, Switzerland, who's been a neutral country for fucking ever, now they're supporting NATO, and even though they're not a part of NATO, but they're supporting and they're giving money and arms to Ukraine, which they haven't done since I think it was like 1930.
We could do a separate call. Switzerland is the biggest group of liars.
They're and like I was reading, like they were like they're freezing Russian billionaires' accounts over there, and like it's crazy, like to see the things that are happening around like the world because of this, and like how like everyone's getting like pissed off about it.
Well, it's not because I think it's the opposite.
Like
It's the opposite. That I think that they needed these
there's a
things
deeper
to
reason
happen.
behind it.
Yeah, but the things that they're doing, they want it to happen, and they needed a reason to make it happen.
It's all an agenda.
A select few of people needed it to happen, but like like I said, like the billionaires in like Russia and shit that like I guess weren't in the inner circle.
I know they're seizing their yachts.
Yeah, and like they're like all pissed off about it.
Well, the one thing I definitely have to say is the fact that we did a book review that was written in 1930 and it turned into this kind of goes to show the power that this book had, right? Like it's all coming to fruition. And when he died, so when he wrote this, and I have, did you read the other one, Mike? Revisit it?
He's got a remastered version, yeah.
Yeah, it says revisit it. The book, the one I got has both. And then Kristen got one to read herself, which the cover is pretty damn cool. What do you think about the cover, dude?
Yeah, it's cool.
The machine man. I don't know. I like this cover. I was looking at like deciphering how they came up with it. I thought it was pretty cool.
You know, it's gonna be pretty cool going back through these podcasts in a year from now and seeing like how our ideas progressed and shit, because
that's the best part about the podcast in general. That when I talk, dude, is like going back and listening to the old ones. I'm like, damn, that idea was wrong. That was wrong. I was wrong there. But the only reason I progressed is because I've been talking about it. Right? That's why I love doing these. I love talking because I'd like to see how wrong I was before.
I still think the Queen's gonna die soon, but
I know, dude. We're waiting. We'll 3 years from now.
No. This year.
You've been saying the Queen's gonna die for quite some time, dude, and she kicked COVID, bro.
That's a bullshit.
I think if the Queen kicks COVID, we should all be pissed off, dude. Because that if COVID was that deadly, the Queen should be fucking knocked off. She should not have survived COVID.
I mean, COVID is we need to get over that.
You know,
I think it's getting there.
You know,
I think people are coming around.
So, like on page for the 41 of the book, open the book, Bill. Go to page 41, and it's like I don't know, like 20 lines down, like this like almost the middle of the page.
Think of water.
What's the very first word at the top of the page?
Oh.
Okay, so your book's a little different than mine.
They're going to be different.
It goes,
read it, dude.
The Russian technique for infecting water supplies was particularly ingenious.
Oh, geez.
So he talks about the Russians.
That's like I was like what? Like I just happened to be flipping through the book, and I just stopped on that page because I seen a.
I mean, you're going to see a lot of things that are going to be kind of repetitive because of World War II too.
They've used this.
There's like chemistry at the top. I seen this chemistry thing for a certain formula or whatever, and that I just have this glance down, and that's like the first thing that stuck out because we got on the topic of Russia, and I was like, oh shit, like back in 1932, this dude knew it was up,
Gotta drink my distilled water now.
right?
I mean, I don't know, man. I just think.
And then it says like the 9 Years' War, the great economic collapse.
Jesus.
There was a choice between world control and destruction, between stability and then it just like stops.
So would you, do you think that this type of world that they're talking about right now is good?
No.
No,
No? So you think
everybody's gonna look the same. Everyone's gonna think the same thoughts, and to keep that going, they just pump you full of soma. You're like the one part they're talking. It's like Monday 1 gram of soma, Tuesday 2 grams of soma, Wednesday 3 grams. You go to a party, 5 grams of soma.
yeah, dude, but it's like that's what a lot of people want, I feel like. Because
yes, I agree.
like people want this.
Amount of soma.
People want this. I don't know why they want this, but people want this.
Because they wanted an easy life. That's what they want.
Yeah. So if anybody listened to this far out and you want this, please come on and talk to me. I think that's the hardest thing for me to do, man. Like I really want to talk to somebody with an opposing view, and nobody will talk to me that has an opposing view. Nobody.
They're not listening to us. They're watching TV. They got CNN.
Some of them listen to me, dude. Some of them listen to me and they give me shit, but they won't come on and talk. So it's like I don't care about you. I care about your opinion, but come and talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a nice TV, dude. He's got a nice TV.
That was nice TV.
That's a nice TV, dude.
Sorry, my dog just squatted down in front of me. I had to run to let him out.
Oh yeah, that would have been a close one, dude. Is that our ductless air conditioning you got up there?
Yeah, so I got a room back here. It's an addition, and I just threw it I did this myself through a ductless guy up there.
How's that work?
So there's a compressor outside, and you just need to get like a.
Does it work though? Like, is it good?
Yeah, it works great.
I almost did that when I lived in Lansdale. I almost got them things put in.
Yeah, they're badass.
Nice. So, what's your final thoughts here on the first couple chapters of this book?
I mean, I've read the whole book, so I know where it's headed. So you guys can say that. You read the whole book already, right? Or not?
I haven't read the whole book. I've listened to the whole book twice.
Yeah.
I've only read up to the chapter that we were going to do today.
I mean, I have a feeling I know where it's going to go. I think it's pretty easy to kind of see where it's headed.
Well, if you're only halfway through, Bill, you'll see that they start developing the Savage character. And in a real turn of irony, you'll see that the Savage character actually shows these people what it's like to live a real life. So.
Right, which in my opinion, dude, is like that, and that's where I get this right. Like that's where I said I think it's an allegory of like colonization, because I get Plato's The Cave vibe from this book, and I think that's another thing that why, dude, like I can't watch a movie, I can't watch anything without like looking at it with a philosophical view anymore. So that's the one reason where when Mike said in the beginning of this is like, if you could go back, would you? Like, that's the only part I want back. I want to be able to watch a movie and not kind of look at it through my eyes now with this philosophical view, because I do it with cartoons.
Well, they do. That's because they're hiding stuff for you that see it to look for it. Like there is things that you're supposed to see that the general population don't see. Like that.
Well, it makes it look like it's a fantasy. They take simple concepts like Plato's cave, dude. Like that's what he are you familiar with that allegory? So
yeah, they pitched
like waving
back, yeah.
Right, and people were using that all like for they started doing memes or pictures of that for like Trump and like, look, you guys are looking at whatever. But like what that's really about is starting to look inside to realize that like what you're being shown all the time is not reality unless you want to make it reality. And it's so hard to break that. Like some people are so comfortable they get so comfortable in their perspective that like that's the only reality that can exist, and everything outside of that is evil, and we got to destroy it because I don't want to lose this comfort of my perspective. And when you look at a lot of these things, dude, like what was the Ready Player One? I just watched that with Liam a couple days ago, and that's really what that's about, dude. Like that movie is about if you take out
Isn't that
when you
the
take
metaverse?
out, it's like the metaverse, yeah. So they're in the goggles, but when you look at it, dude, like that is real world. Take away the goggles, take away all that, and what it's about is a corporation trying to run the world. And like the corporation hires all of these people to try to control what's going on in the game, where at the end it's this player that gets all the regular players to come together to defeat this one big corporation of players, right? Like, but all the other players in there don't really matter. They're just there to do it. And the other movie I watched was it was called Free Guy. Did you see that one?
I haven't seen it, but I know there's a lot of gems in there.
Dude, that's a good one, dude. Like, so what it is basically they are like when you play Fortnite or something, and you got like the characters in the background, like the computer programs. So like it's about them, and like these people are what do they call them? Non-player characters, and like something like that, non-player characters, and that's what he is. Like the main guy is a non-player, and then every day he wakes up and he's starting to realize these things, and he starts to wake up and he's trying to wake everybody else up that's a non-player, and he finally does at the end and whatever. But it's the same fucking concept in an extreme. So it looks like it's a fantasy world. It's not real, but it's like this is like, dude. We are conditioned.
Yo, that's what we're trying to do, to get more people to think like us and see like they're manipulating you. That's not a truth. That's what they want you to think is the truth. That's kind of the whole purpose of this podcast, is to get people to start thinking
for themselves. Just be them. I think that's my biggest thing. Like it's like I don't want to become what I'm trying to go against, right? Like I'm going against that manipulation and stuff. So like when I'm trying to tell, or I don't like to say teach, or when I'm saying things, I don't want you to think like me. I just want you to think like you, and not like what like people are telling you what to think. It's okay to believe in whatever you want, but stop listening to this. It's like people that have that, I'll guarantee this. This is guaranteed. Whoever right now had changed their Facebook profile to I Stand With Ukraine will 1000% change their profile picture to the next thing, and then the next thing. And I'll guarantee it, none of them will skip one. They'll continue to do that. And it just shows what you are. You aren't you. You are what they want you to be. Like you'll change your literal profile picture every time. Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, ally, Ukraine. What's the next thing? I don't know what the next thing is going to be yet, but I guarantee your Facebook profile will have it. Guaranteed, without a doubt. You're going to be that thing. Like I know it.
Exactly.
I don't see them doing anything different. I think Ed's going to do it next.
I
If I had social media, we'll say.
I can't. The last thing I probably did on Facebook was probably write on your wall. McDowell, because I saw like all these political stuff, and I wrote on your wall, and then my friends were like, "What are you writing this stuff for?" And I was like, you know what? This is bullshit. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I'm getting out of here. Like, I'll do the podcast. I'll read. We'll talk. But like, it's just not worth it anymore. It's like all bullshit.
Yeah, I think it's funny, dude. When I started doing that, I thought it was, I don't know, dude. I think it takes courage to speak your true opinion.
Exactly. It really does. Well,
That's courage.
you were heavy Trump, and I was trying to get you to see both sides back then. I was like, man, yes.
Yeah, I was definitely heavy Trump.
I would throw some like stuff to you, like just to first. Most of my stuff was trying to help you, like conquer these assholes that couldn't see beyond CNN, and then like we started like sharing back and forth text messages and IMs and stuff.
I think that's the thing, right? Like people, like I saw that I started going full, like, dude, I was never big Trump. And then you see, it just started building, right? Like it started building to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. It started to build. And one of the hardest things for me was a lot of recognition or good things coming from people were when I would when something about Trump. So like people would be more likely to attach themselves to that thing, right? So I started to kind of go that way because that's where I was getting that recognition or the attention. And then I had to realize, I did the video on pride, and I was like, holy shit, look where I'm going. Like I'm turning into but that's what I mean. I have to be careful not to become what it is that I'm also trying to tell people about, right? Because that's the abyss, dude. Like the longer I face evil, I can become that evil, and that's what happens to people. The longer you can become what you are claiming you're not by doing that.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff you can solve just by being neutral. Just saying, like, especially like this war in Ukraine stuff, there isn't a side to be on. I mean, Russia
besides civilians.
Yeah, like you feel bad for the civilians of both Russia and Ukraine.
Especially that like 80-year-old lady got ran over by that tank.
Dude, but you know what else? I honestly like. I feel bad for the soldiers that are convinced that they're doing good.
I feel bad for our soldiers too. Like I feel
that's what I mean.
All of them, like crazy psychopaths, determine their fate. Like if there wants to be a third world war, they have to go fight it. I feel bad for them.
Until we're drafted, dude. That's the only thing, right? Like maybe I should keep my joint paid just in case we get drafted. And I'd be like, dude, I got bad shoulders.
That's like I said, there's no shot.
You could draft me, but I ain't showing up. I mean, that's the thing. Like
dude. But listen to this, dude. If there is a World War III, that's it. We're done. If there's really nuclear weapons, and we have all these nuclear weapons that we're talking about, and just think about it, dude. If America's about to lose, is America just going to be like, okay, we lost? Or they're like, no, you know what? If we're going to lose, we're all going out. And nukes are just going to be everywhere.
But what you're
nobody's just going to be like, I give up. It's going to be like, here's the nuke button, and then everybody's going to hit it.
See, where my side of it is, the people that will live are the people that run these countries, and people that, like us, the civilians, will be the targets, not country versus country. It'll be rich versus poor.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, like we'll be screwed, but I have no doubts that the Bill Gates of the world will be fine.
Yeah, dude. Look, why is somebody that has invested their whole life into technology buying farmland?
He's the largest owner of farmland in the country.
Yeah, what are you doing that, dude? Yes. Your whole life was around technology, and now it's farmland.
And philanthropy with vaccines when there's a global pandemic at the same time. It's like
now all of a sudden he's the world's expert on fucking vaccine.
He's not a doctor. What the hell am I taking? Why is he on every fucking show talking about stuff he has no idea about?
Yeah, dude. And they're just involved in so much. Like the Gates Foundation is just involved in so many things that have nothing to do with fucking Windows. I just don't. It just blows my mind how we can take these people because they have money and just say, I'm going to listen.
You think Bill Gates has it in his heart to go help the people of Africa and India because he's a good guy? No, that dude does not give a shit about people in Africa and India. He's doing something very nefarious over there. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, that's where he's testing it all because it's not like shit's gonna get out.
Yeah, they'll just say, "Oh, that was a bad batch of vaccines," when really wanted to see what the outcome was.
That was a bad batch of water. It must have been contaminated. Like it didn't get filtered right.
All I know, dude, is what I want to do right now with all this. I want to go to the fucking Georgia Guidestones and interview people all day.
That would be great. That would be
Dude,
great.
Dude,
And we're gonna set up a table.
Dude, I'm telling you, I want to do it so bad. I need to get a microphone though, because I'm gonna post the one with the dude, because that part's good, dude. The one with,
if you did that, you'd be shit ton of views. Everybody would share that stuff.
bro, just think about the people you would meet there. Like, you have to have a conspiracy mind, like you have to have some sort of conspiracy minded person to go there. Because it's not like it's a tourist attraction. It's in the middle of the fucking sticks.
You guys
Like,
didn't even know about it until I told you.
That's what I mean. And the dude I met there lived close.
He was like, I lived here for the last 30 years, and I just found out about him today. We drove here.
Yeah, I was like, wait, he's like, dude, yeah.
He just
And then he started going, dude, he went off, dude. It's fucking hilarious. He's like, dude, you can point a laser through this and it goes straight to like another.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, he just was going. He's like, I don't know, man. I just watched like an hour YouTube channel and he was just going off, dude.
And then
He's
it
like,
wasn't like just him. Like, this dude packed up his whole fucking family in the van and drove there, dude.
yeah. And we were reading in the one part, they were reading the Guidestone, and he's like, does that say 500 million?
Yes.
And he's like, 500 million? How many people are on Earth right now?
7.5 billion.
And I was like, dude, I was like, I had to ask Ed. I was like, I'm not sure how many. And I asked, and then his nephew comes over and he's like, well, actually, there's like about 7 billion. And if you want to know how many are in America, there's about his nephew, dude, a little kid.
This kid's like 6 years old.
Yeah, a little kid. And he's like, I didn't even know there's 500 million. But what's going on here, dude? What do they want to kill us all?
Yes.
Dude, it is
I would
good.
love to go there with a wrecking crew and just knock those sons of bitches to the ground.
Really?
Hell yeah.
Why don't you just do it yourself?
I mean, you saw how thick they are. What do you think?
Yeah,
I
dude.
can do?
Yeah, they're freaking big.
They're in there, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna need some heavy hit machine.
I mean, they were made to withstand the apocalypse, so
Exactly.
it is creepy.
But think about it though. If an apocalypse comes, go there because they put them there for a reason. They want those to make
Well,
it.
that's like
I've looked
in
at
the
real
middle of
estate
nowhere,
now.
but then they got surveillance cameras there, like
Because
watching.
people used to deface them. That's
Yeah.
why surveillance cameras are there.
I watched what was I'll send it to you, Mike. I don't know if I said it to you. A lady that we were talking to there told us about a documentary that they did on it.
Yeah.
And I did watch it. It was actually really interesting. But they
They always
said
act
that
like it was some guy, some crazy guy from the Midwest that just did it on his own dime. Like bullshit.
yeah. They had like all these, I don't know, dude. They tried like interviewing this dude and like they zoomed in on like his mail and stuff. I don't know.
Oh yeah. I remember watching that documentary at your house. Yeah.
They're like, can you just open that box? And he's like, and they're like, just open it. Let's see how much paper's in here. And they like zoom in to try to get like addresses and stuff.
He was in charge of the bank
Yeah, that financed it.
that the guy came to.
Because he had to use his real name and stuff.
Yeah. And so like this dude, like he didn't say nothing to nobody for fucking ever. And then all of a sudden he's like 80 at this point and he's like willing to like, I guess like talk about it. And he had like just like boxes, like file boxes of like paperwork, I guess, about it or from the bank. And it was just like been sitting in his shed for the last freaking 50 years.
Jesus.
And
They were trying to get like addresses.
yeah, they were trying to get like
because it was mail.
Yeah.
Like they would send letters to
the
the
paperwork, and he's like, nah. It
And
was,
they manipulated the old head to open the box. That was pretty fucked up.
yeah.
Like just open the box, dude. We just want to see.
I mean, guys, what's more fucked up, that or someone putting a monolith talking about the ending the world and 500 million people is the max and one language and whatever else?
I'm mad that I never like did that before, like a random person with a camera out. So like just being there with my camera, like holding it, was nerve-wracking to me. Like I was like, this is weird. Like people were, but you know what the weirdest part is when I was doing it, and I said something to like, oh, I have a podcast. It's called The Dumbest Guy in the Room. And the one dude that was like in the background was like, oh, I heard of that. I said, I think I watched it. And I was like, damn, dude, like just saying that people do think that maybe like that you're somebody or, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I was sitting there recording saying I have a podcast and some random person in the background is like, oh, dude, I heard of that. That's and I was like, I don't think you did.
No, you did, bro. You did.
But it was so weird, but it got easier once I got that dude. And he definitely made it easier because he was, you know,
into it.
He was into it. So it was very easy for him, like just randomly. I'm like, you care if I like record you? But I wish I had that courage to do that before because there was a Russian family there and they had like signs that they were like holding in front of it, like giving the stone the finger. And the wife spoke some English because I did ask her if it said I was like, can you just verify that this says the same thing as this? And she said, yeah, it says the same thing. Because obviously I can't read Russian. I know somebody has had to have gone through all that, but for me, it was just cool it would have been cool to talk to them, like, and ask them what their thoughts on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was nervous you guys were going to go and that one plaque in the ground was going to be filled out with dates because then we're in trouble.
If once the dates go there,
there's one that's blank, right, in the ground.
It just says that this was put, but it doesn't even say when it was put there. Like it says the date's missing from where it says that the time capsule was put in, but it's also not there for when it needs to be opened.
Well, let's open that bitch.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder how far down it is.
Probably
it's like to the side.
Huge.
It's to the side of it, so it's not like there, but I'm sure there's something under it too.
Oh, there's got to be something underneath that thing.
Yeah, and he thought it would be bigger.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was big, but I thought it was like from the picture I seen, and I just thought it would be like I was gonna get there and be like, holy shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's big, like it's freaking giant slabs of freaking rock, but
and there's nothing around there.
No, it's in the middle of nowhere.
There's one house down the way a little bit, but it's like it's a farm, and like I'm assuming either people who owned the property prior to them giving it to this guy to build this stuff, because apparently he brought that little patch of land from farmers.
He did.
So if I had to guess, it's probably still like the generational thing. They passed it down unless somebody brought it out. But
then he gave he gave it back to the city.
Yeah,
after they were done.
Alberton, Georgia owns it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, dude. It's just crazy.
That old guy was funny.
I'll just say it again, dude. We live in a brave new world. We live in a brave new world.
I mean, that's why I wanted us to read the book. So next call, when we wrap this up, I have some more talking points because it's kind of hard to remember where chapter, what we say, up to 9.
Yeah, I read up to 9.
I'll make some notes from 9 on so that we can actually talk about how this book is actually wrapping up and how that compares to right now.
And that's why I wanted to, when I kind of left. I mean, we talked a little bit about the last couple, chapter 7 and 8, with the woman not knowing how to do things when she went to the reservation. But I kind of want to stay away from that and focus on just the beginning, because I feel like all of that stuff will flow better with the end of the book.
Sure.
Like I feel like the beginning of the book, just the way that they were showing these kids, or what was a tour of the building and what they were showing them, dude. Like, I got one thing I did want to say, dude, that we didn't talk about is when they go into the laboratory and they're like, we show the babies books and flowers, and then we fucking electrocute them.
Yeah,
so that they're afraid of books and flowers.
Right. And they want that to happen because they talk about before that, they used to try to get people to get out in nature, and they were consuming too much of nature.
Right.
It was actually a bad thing for the environment. So now they're doing the opposite to preserve nature more.
Yes.
Kind of interesting. Like now we're locked up in our houses because we're out there consuming too much of nature. There's kind of some parallels there if you're a conspiracy theorist, but I mean,
What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and reality?
6 months, 9 months.
Yeah, 6 weeks, dude. It's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
It's
They never acknowledge that.
Yeah, you love the numbers 6 and 9 though.
I don't. The fucking Freemasons do.
You just said 6 months, 9 months.
Yeah, I do it on purpose now.
I'm just throwing that out there, brother.
Or like, how many times do you write just because you said that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
Where is, Huxley died at age 69,
Wow.
in case you were wondering.
Not surprised.
Not surprised.
Yeah, look into his brother.
I will. I didn't get there. I'm gonna look into his brother. You know his name? Marcus. Aldous and Marcus, dude.
I'll Google it real quick.
You said 69, and like I said in the book, that's why I wanted to talk to Mike about it. Because like I said, 96 instead of 69, 96 identical twins working 96 identical machines.
What is it?
Julian Huxley.
Julian. Well, Mike, Ed, dude, if you look into, I got into numbers before Mike was with, Mike is into numbers at a whole different level than I ever got into it.
Yeah.
But I did when I talked to him about it the first time, Tesla used to talk about 3, 6, and 9. And he's like, once people can understand the power of 3, 6, and 9. So I've been into what did he mean by that for the longest time.
I could send you guys so many more videos, but I don't want you to think I'm totally nuts. So I just keep them to myself.
Dude, we already do. It's all right.
Yeah, send them over.
Yeah, dude, I'm cool. That's the other thing, man. Fuck that. I don't care if people call me crazy or anything. It's like, all I'm doing is talking about something that you never thought of before. So it sounds crazy.
Yeah. And
maybe it is, but guess what? At least I realize it. You know what I mean? Until you can get into that stuff and think about it, then
at least we're trying to better ourselves,
That's it. That's my ultimate goal, is to progress. I just want to
not be the dumbest guy in the room anymore.
I am the dumbest guy in the room. I always feel like keeping that mindset of being the dumbest guy in the room leaves you with opportunity to gain more information.
True.
Right? If I think I'm the smartest guy in the room all the time, then I'm never going to learn anything from the people around me. So when I keep the mindset of dumbest guy in the room, it's like, I know nothing. These people know something that I don't know. And I'm here to collect that information, because the more information that I can collect, the better off I can be later, because at some point I'm going to be able to use this information. I might not know it now. I might not understand it now, but at some point it's going to make sense. And that's the way, if you look back at your past, dude, the information that you gain, you're like, oh, damn, that's why this. And it just everything starts making sense. It's it might not make sense now, but down the line, you might hear something else and be like, holy shit. And then it just gets this connection, and now it's connected, and you understand what that other thing meant that you listened to and didn't understand at one point.
That's why when I meet a lot of new people, I just listen, because it's, if you're talking, you're not learning, but if you're listening, you're learning.
You're gaining information. It's collecting information.
You meet those people that just never shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they're the worst.
They're the fucking worst. And then you could tell they know, they either know a very little bit about a bunch of shit, or they know a lot about a few topics, and that's fucking it.
And that's all they can talk about.
And that's it. And that's all they talk about all the time. Every time you see them, that's it.
Yeah, Mike's right, dude. Sports, but that's the other thing. Recognizing that was me.
That was me too. I mean, it's just.
And I still do it. I'm still guilty of being the one that's doing a lot of talking. It's just the fact of recognizing when I do it. And if you look at my podcast from the beginning, one of the first ones I did with a guest was Nick Ferry. And if you listen to that one, it was 3-hour conversation. All I do is constantly am talking. Like I'm not letting him
And now you're
really
watching. Like, shut
talk.
up.
Yeah, I'm telling myself to shut up. But rewatching that taught me a lot about myself because that wasn't the goal going into it.
Right.
Right.
I even watch these ones and I'll see when I cut somebody off and I'm like, damn, I missed an opportunity to let them speak here. Or I just get better every time at letting people talk or like, I don't know. I just feel like rewatching these things. And Mike said it before too. Mike's like, I've been watching these and I see myself going off. And it's like, you're learning something about like how to, when you have a thought, right? Because I get it a lot. I have a thought and I need to say it. And I learn more how to like kind of contain that, let it go or like jot it down and let the person like take in what they're saying before I start speaking.
That's where like the feelings come into play, like because it's not like so much the thought, like you feel passionate about something, especially if it's a certain topic or like a certain agenda. You go off on a tangent sometimes because like you have these feelings attached to those thoughts.
Yeah.
And like you want to make sure that your thoughts or your feelings you can portray them and are able to get them out because you want them to understand like how you perceive that thought.
Right. It's not about being misunderstood. It's about being understood.
Yeah.
Like trying to get out a straight thought.
I always had the fear of like what's in my head right now. I don't want to lose it. So let me spit it out and then they can say what they want to say.
Right.
And really what you need to do is digest what they're saying and then come back with it. But like that fear of like losing that train of thought is always there. So
Yes.
That happens to me a lot.
But it's I don't know, dude. I feel like once we get started and we get flowing, it starts to flow. I don't know. I enjoy rewatching the podcast now. I can listen to my own voice. Like before, I could not listen to my own voice.
I can't listen to mine. I'll skip through shit I say just to listen to you guys. Like I can't.
I do it just to beat myself up. But I can listen to myself now. So like now I know what I sound like.
It is weird
outside of myself.
For yourself, like hear yourself talking in person and then hear yourself talking recorded.
Yeah, it's different.
It sounds different, and like it is really weird.
But it's not.
I know that's
so like Ed, you sound the same as you do in person to me, but like what you mean is your voice in your head.
Yeah,
is not the same voice that other people hear.
Sitting in this room, like listening to myself talk, but then like when I go back and watch this, and I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck? I sound like that?" Like it's really weird.
Yeah, but you always sound like that.
Yeah. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's I guess it's how you.
I hate my voice.
Perceive yourself.
I think everybody does but now I'm used to it. Yeah. Like now but I think that was the hardest thing for me to do is I hated listening to myself. So like I could never rewatch it. And then I was like, that was probably terrible. But when I go back, like that dude at the Georgia guy things, I can't wait to post it. Like the day that I did it and rewatched it, it was like okay. And I was like, oh, whatever. But it just happened. But when I just rewatched it, I was fucking dying laughing, dude. It was
get it up.
Dude, it was so funny.
Excited. He was like, I'm gonna be on TV or some shit. He was so excited. It was funny.
It was hilarious. I can't wait, dude. I'm gonna get it up because I don't know. I just feel like you can meet so many interesting people there. I just want to keep going back.
I traveled down near you a lot. I'll go with you one day if we can get the stars.
No, you definitely should. I'm telling you, like when it gets nicer out, we're gonna freaking go down some lawn chairs, a table, like set up, and just start interviewing everybody that comes for the entire day.
Are you in South Carolina or North?
I'm in South Carolina.
I was down in North Carolina last week, but
he's like right on that border though. Like I mean, depending on where you're at in North Carolina, like Charlotte, what's that drive? An hour, Bill?
Charlotte, yeah, it's about an hour 15.
So it's not bad. And like it's like the way they're set up, like they're wider, but like if you're going north to south, like it's not bad at all.
Yep. All right, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, this was we talked forever, but we let it go too long without doing it.
Well, the shorter your podcast, I've noticed with other people, is the more views you get because people will stick through the whole thing.
I gotta chop it up.
Yeah.
I gotta chop it up. I gotta get better at it. So what I would have a thing that has like clips. So, but it's just so hard to make the video and then go back and pull clips too, because it's time.
Hours in a day, man.
It's so time consuming, bro. But that's why I was showing my wife how to do the use the program that I have that makes them, so that she can help me kind of do it as well, because it really is time consuming. Dude, like this is the easy part.
If you can do it, she can do it.
That's right. That's right. Dude, God bless her. She is the shit. Like, I don't know how, if it wasn't for her, dude, I would not be here right now. That's a fact. I would have never posted any of these videos. She's my biggest fan, dude. Like, I need that, because she's the one that's like, no, it's good. It's good. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. She's like, no, it's good. Trust me. Like my very first one.
If I didn't meet my wife, I'd probably be in jail. So
we'd all be sharing a cell, dude. We would all be sharing a cell if we didn't meet I do believe that, man, like a good woman is so important to have in your life to keep yourself stable. And that's one of the biggest takeaways from this book is if you destroy family, dude, like you're gonna destroy a lot of men, because we need our wives.
Yep.
All right, boys. I appreciate it. Anybody else have anything to say?
Who's up next for picking books? They got to start thinking. Is it Eddie?
Eddie's
I've
up.
been thinking. I thought about the last time we did a video. I've been thinking. I'm just like I gotta really like look because like this, especially this past week, I've just been so busy. I've been working like overtime, and like I have 2 recommendations. Oh, my wife got 2 recommendations, so I'll see what she says.
There we go.
I'll look into them. I'll send them to you. See what you guys think.
Awesome.
You just pick, dude. We're gonna read it.
Yeah, pick. It's all on you, man.
It doesn't matter what it is,
I'll
man.
look into it and see what's up.
Don't worry about us. Dude. I'll read anything and talk about anything.
I got a really crazy one that it'll be very controversial for our next one.
That's what I like to hear.
I
Dude.
didn't read it yet, but it's controversial.
Oh, so it'll be a first time for all of us?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
That's what I like.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, boys. Thanks for coming on again. I enjoyed this book, Mike, and we'll finish this one up. Not this week, but next week we'll get it finished. All right.
All right. Sounds good, boys.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, bud.
Myself, you better run like hell. Stuck in the flames of my soul. And when I'm out of my cell, you better pray for help. Welcome to my evolution. Leveling up, leveling up. Welcome to my evolution. Leveling up, leveling up. Switch.